Hegseth dismissed the reporting about him disclosing attack plans to his wife and others on an unsecured messaging app as a, quote, hit piece. The White House defended him, the press secretary saying, quote, no classified information has been shared, end quote.
I want to end with this. Front page of the New York Times, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth back in the news about staffers had to be dismissed and a second signal chat that took place. Where's the president stand on this?
The president stands strongly by Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring, so they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job, and the president stands strongly behind him.
News breaking over the weekend, first reported by the New York Times, that Hegseth shared information about airstrikes in Yemen on March 15th in a group chat on Signal that included his wife, it included his brother, and his personal attorney. His wife, a former Fox News producer, is not a Defense Department employee. And while Hegseth has hired his brother and attorney, Tim Parlatore, for roles at DOD, the New York Times says this, quote, it is not clear why either would need to know about upcoming military strikes aimed at the Houthis in Yemen. If this story sounds familiar, that's because Hegseth shares what the New York Times calls, quote, essentially the same attack plans on a separate Signal group chat that included Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg on the very same day. Sources tell NBC News that 13 people, including his wife, were on this particular separate group chat, and that Hegseth was using his personal phone.
Important to bring up that this chat happened before confirmation. While confirmation was taking place. And also, it just is kind of very curious for me. They're not interested in what these people were leaking, which seems serious. They're interested in the Secretary of Defense, who wasn't.
That's right. They are lying about the Secretary of Defense. Let me reiterate, no classified information was shared in these chats. But you do have leakers who are leaking classified information, which is a crime, I will add. And so the administration and the president have taken a very strong stance against anyone who leaks, especially sensitive and classified information that can put our troops and our warfighters at risk. And you've seen the secretary has taken very strong action to rein in the leakers at the Pentagon, and he will continue to do so, I'm sure.